Or not.
We're going to start in a minute, so if you want to find your seats. Right before we start the meeting, a couple of quick public service announcements for an emergency. Please note the exits on either side of the chambers and proceed down the stairs. Bathrooms are located out the door to my left. Women's room is to the right, men's to the left. We allow 30 minutes for public speaking. If you have not done so already, please sign up through the Zoom. I guess we just took if there's anybody, I'll open the floor at the end. Please note that the council does have rules of decorum for our meetings, including the public speaking portion of the meeting. We ask that respect is shown to all community members, whether they serve on the council, in the staff, or here as a public member. I am now calling this common council meeting to order at 7:34 p.m. on September 13th, 2022. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. May I please have roll call?
Alderman Hill. Alderman Frankel.
Here.
Alderman Scott Childress. Alderman Worthington. Alderman Muhammad.
Here.
Alderman Davis.
Excused.
Alderman Oliveri.
Here.
Alderman Shabbat.
Here.
Alderman Hirsch.
Present.
She said present. Yes. We have a quorum. Can I have a motion to dispense with the minutes of the previous meeting and approve same? Motion by Alderman Renee Scott Childress, second by Steve Shabbat. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is adopted 8-0. Can I have a motion to dispense with the reading of the general bills? Motion by Renee Scott Childress, second by Alderwoman Rita Worthington. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is adopted 8-0. As council members, we get the chance to meet folks from throughout the city and from all walks of life. Throughout our service on the council, we meet community members who truly move us by their acts of kindness and their efforts to better our community. Tonight, we recognize and honor a community member who has gone above and beyond to serve and help others with our Common Council Community Award. This month, Alderman Steve Shabbat will present. So I welcome Alderman Shabbat to the podium. And Steve, if you could use the microphone. I think you just have to press the button on top. No, there's a button on top. Rita, can you give him your mic? We want Zoom to hear it too.
Hello, there we go. All right. Tonight, I'm very honored. This is a distinct privilege to speak about Mr. Washington. As an older person or any civil servant, there's sometimes in your life and during your tenure, you get to meet somebody who you consider special. Your dad is that, your husband is that. He was a special man. Briefly, I met him just walking through the neighborhood. He happened to be sitting on a stoop and I stopped and we talked for quite a while. And he was just easy to get along with. We had a lot of history together, even though it was a big difference in age. We knew a lot of the same people, frequented the same joints, the White Eagle, the VFW, all that. But as I'm talking to him, he looked familiar. I didn't remember meeting him before, but as we talked, I recognize him and he filled me in, that he was with the VFW Honor Guard for, do you know how many years? A long time. So I probably saw him at 100 funerals, honoring his fellow vets. I dare say he was at my dad's and my father-in-law's and, you know, my uncle's, and he presented himself very well. He was just a great guy. So in addition to that, I know he helps out with the Riverview Baptist Church quite frequently. He is a Korean War vet, and for that we thank him. But this is really the spirit of this award, people who give to the community. And oddly enough, Leroy was not born here, but he really made a commitment to Kingston. And we certainly appreciate it. That's what this award is about, people who have given back to their community. And he has over and over and over again. I hate to say it, sometimes he has toiled in anonymously, but I'm sure he would never regret it. He'd do it all the same. He was a big personality. I really like talking to him. But again, this is the spirit of the night, to honor him. So thank you very much. It's an honor to stand here and honor this gentleman. Thank you. Would anybody like to say anything?
We're now entering into the public speaking portion of the meeting. We have allotted 30 minutes for this purpose. Speakers will have 3 minutes. If there are remaining speakers after 30 minutes, I will call for a motion from the council to extend the period for another 30 minutes. Speakers, direct your comments to the chair, as council members cannot engage in debate during this time. Please state your name and address on the record before you address the council. For the audience in chambers and on Zoom, there shall be no distractions when a speaker is addressing the council. The Common Council has also received written comments for our consideration, and they can be found on the city's website under tonight's agenda. May I have the first speaker, please?
Philip Cosme.
Good evening. I couldn't quite hear what you said, but I think was my name and address.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Philippe Cosme, 278 Washington Avenue. Was that enough? I came here because I forgot that the mayor doesn't run these meetings. It's the alderman at large, but at least I got to meet. I said, the reason I came here because I thought the mayor ran these and I just remembered that the alderman at large runs it, but I'll speak anyways. I got to meet my alderman. I got to see the rest of the aldermen and the people up at the podium. I've been having a problem with the DPW trying to get my road on Washington Avenue fixed and potholes on Washington Avenue. And the last reply I got was that there was no problems on Washington Avenue. So I will talk to my alderman as he asked me to. So hopefully that's something that'll be done on that respect. But as far as the city on the whole, the the patch crew doesn't know what they're doing. They don't have a clue. Okay, I've done highway work. I've talked to other people that are experts, and if you look at them yourself or go over them, you'll know they have no clue. And besides sometimes making the roads worse, they're wasting time and money, all that extra material they're putting on there that they don't need or that gets spread out. Not to mention the erratic driving a lot of people have to do to try and avoid these depressions or potholes and the patch jobs. So whatever this council can do to help the DPW fix the streets, because a city is judged by its streets. That's what people experience first in the city. And if they're getting bounced around because they're not properly maintained, and I'm sure you must have all heard complaints because I know I hear them every time, and you mention it to anybody and they all agree. So, and if anybody has a connection with the mayor, I've called his office every day for 2 weeks, and all I got was an answering machine of somebody who said that they would call me back as soon as possible. Finally, I got a hold of the person and they didn't like my comments at the end after 2 weeks of frustration. So again, I'll address my alderman and hopefully these things will get resolved and I can go back to being retired and not have to come up here and speak anymore. So not that it's that bad anymore, but thank you.
Thank
I
you.
was being timed. Damn, I could go on for half an hour. Oh, well.
I did have a backup plan. But thank you. Next speaker, please. Nobody on Zoom? Is there anybody who would like to speak who hasn't signed up? All right, then I will close the public speaking portion of the meeting. We now enter into claims and communications. Hearing no discussion, they will be on file in the clerk's office. Can I get a motion to dispense with the second reading of the general bills and pay same? Motion by Rennie Scott Childress, second by Barbara Hill. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is adopted 8-0. We're now moving into the report of committees, starting with resolution 169, please.
Resolution 169 of 2022. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, requesting a 2022 transfer in the Housing Department in the amount of $271,794 for the use of rehabilitation of 33 Franklin Street, 44 Franklin Street, and 54 Van Dusen Street.
On the question, Alderman Rennie Scott Childress.
Thank you. For those people who are watching or seeing this later on tape, I just want to point out that this is a pass-through amount of money. In other words, it's coming from a grant. So the city taxpayers are not paying for this directly. It's coming from a grant that's going to go that we had actually won several years ago. And it's going to go to these 3 houses that RUPCO is in the process of renovating so they can get those back on the tax rolls. We're looking very much forward to these 3 houses being renovated and having some bright families, low-income families moving into them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on the question? Hearing nobody else, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 8-0. Moving to resolution 170, please.
Resolution 170 of 2022. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, requesting a 2022 transfer in the Department of Public Works in the amount of $7,500 to cover shortfalls in various accounts.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 8-0. Moving to resolution 171, please.
Resolution 171 of 2022. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, adopting the standard workdays for elected and appointed officials in the New York State retirement system.
On the question, Alderman Michael Oliveri.
Yes, I need to recuse myself as this affects me personally.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else on the question? Alderwoman Michelle Hirsch, just give us a second. I'll give you a thumbs up when we have the sound. Or you can't see me. Go ahead, Michelle.
Yes, I'll be recusing myself from this vote because it affects me. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on the question? Hearing no further discussion, I'll call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 6-0. Moving to resolution 172, please.
Resolution 172 of 2022. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, requesting a 2022 transfer in the Parks and Recreation Department in the amount of $59,150 to reconcile department accounts.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 8-0. Moving to resolution 173, please.
Resolution 173 of 2022. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, declaring support for the New York State Climate Action Scoping Plan.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 8-0. Moving to resolution 174, please.
Resolution 174 of 2022. An ordinance amending an ordinance in relation to the traffic on the public streets of the City of Kingston, New York, adding stop signs at the intersection of Wrentham Street and Hinsdale Street to amend Resolution 167 of 2022.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 8-0. Moving to resolution number 175, please.
Resolution 175 of 2022. Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, amending Common Council Rule Number 1.
On the question? So, yeah, 175 on our legislation list. We actually already voted for that, remember? So it's we just changed the numbers. So it's correct on the resolution, is just the legislation list that's incorrect. So we're voting on amending the Common Council rule. Any procedural questions on that? Okay, Elisa, can you read that again, please?
Resolution of the Common Council of the City of Kingston, New York, amending Common Council Rule 1.
On the question? Hearing no discussion, I'll call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is adopted 8-0. That ends our committees, our communications. Before I turn it over to any of you, I have a couple people that I would like to close in memory of. Rita, I don't know your brother's name, but I just wanted to send Carl. Rita lost her brother a couple weeks ago. So I just wanted to send my condolences to you and your family and to close in memory of Carl.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And also another one of us, family member, our safety officer, Ken Sickler, lost his mother unexpectedly. She was only 61. I know Ken very personally because he was big in the music program at Kingston High School, where I've done a lot of work and went to school. And so my father and I worked really closely with Kenny when he was in high school and got to know Cynthia, who was just an amazing person. So it's a big loss. So I just want to send my condolences to Ken, his brothers, and the community, because Cynthia really did some really awesome things. So I'd like to close in memory of Cynthia. Alderwoman Barbara Hill.
Yes, hi, thank you, Madam President. I think this is my first time doing this, and so I'm all for it. Can you hear me, Sharon?
Yeah, just use the mic.
Okay, Sharon Zappel is here. It's Arnie, her husband, passed in June. And is it okay to read a bit of it? Yeah, okay. Arnie J. Zappel, 71 of Kingston, died June 25th in his home, surrounded by his family, as he had for over 50 years, was holding Sharon's hand, and he fought a short but valiant battle with brain cancer. He was born in Massachusetts, and he was a wise and loving soul who represented the very best of what a person could be. Arnie graduated from San Diego State, triple major, worked as a newsman, Spent the remainder of his career in the alcohol and drug field. For 20 years, he was a spokesperson for organ and tissue transplant agencies, a charity that was close to his heart, as his son Jason was an organ tissue donor when he died. And as a retiree, he traveled and was a volunteer for Red Cross, court-appointed special advocates, Congregation Emmanuel of the Hudson Valley, and he served on various boards, president of the congregation, very much a family man, lot of volunteering, lifelong Dodger fan. So, and very much a loving soul. I met Arnie going door to door, and I know his wife Sharon have been very involved in the community. And I guess that's about it. A very loving family. And I believe that Arnie lived for years down in the Roundout area and then moved to my ward. But anyhow, this is a great family and well-known and loved in the community. Thank you.
Give you my condolences. Alderman Steve Shabbat.
Thank you, Madam President. I have a couple people to close in memory of. Actually, it's been a rough month. Quite a few, unfortunately. Gary Stelz of Kingston died recently after a very long illness. He was had a BA from Marist, worked at numerous companies around here, healthcare related, United Healthcare. I mean, I got to know him. He was a pharmacist at my drugstore, but he and I grew up in the same neighborhood. Sad to see him pass. I know it was unfortunate. He was in a lot of pain, but I just want to recognize him. Also, a friend of mine died.
I'm sorry, Steve, can you talk closer to the microphone?
Oh, sorry. How's that?
Thank you. Is this
Better?
for the, yeah, thank you.
Okay. Also, a good friend of mine, John Cutrone, just passed 2 weeks ago. John didn't grow up here, but he made it his home. He was a Navy vet during the Vietnam era. He opened his own sand and gravel company down in Marlboro. He leaves behind his wife and his 2 sons, several grandchildren, very, very large family. Sorry to see him go, very nice guy. I also want to close, and unfortunately, we have come to this part of the meeting before in memory of Jason Lau. Very young man, actually played ball in high school with my son. And I always say this, very, very nice young man, but he succumbed to things he should not have. And his parents have been vocal about it, and I appreciate that. He does leave behind his mom and dad, Jeff and Maria Lau, and quite a large family. Nice boy, way too young to be gone. Also, Kyle Sheffer, another relatively young man. I remember talking to his father. He played football in high school. His dad was so proud of him. His dad talked about him continuously. He has a large family, lived in Kingston his whole life, but he went through a serious illness. And sorry to see him pass. And last, a relative of mine, Nancy Witkowski. She just passed within a week. Very long illness. She had several things wrong with her. Leaves behind her daughter and her husband, Joe, and quite a large family. So, and with that, I will close.
Anybody else? Alderwoman Rochelle Hirsch, Jaslina. You're set.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. I would like to close in honor and memory of Susan Elizabeth Raymond Bosch, who passed away on September 1st. She was the wife of Eli Bosch, who's a prominent attorney here in Kingston. Susan was born in 1952 in Teaneck, New Jersey, and later moved up to the area and attended Rondout Valley High School, where she graduated. She also continued her education at Ulster County Community College and SUNY New Paltz, and she obtained a Bachelor's of Science in Elementary Education and her master's in early education. And she taught for years as an art teacher at Duzine Elementary School in New Paltz, and she was also a mixed media artist. She and her husband Eli Bosch had set up a scholarship for students that attended either Rondout High School or Kingston High School. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing nobody else, I will take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Rita Worthington, second by Carl Frankel. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we hereby stand adjourned until the next regularly scheduled meeting on October 4th, 2022 at 7:30.